The Nothing Phone 3 has launched in India, and it's launched internationally as well. And I think everywhere it has the same big problem: the price. Now, in the US, the Nothing Phone 3 is launched at $800, and in India, the Nothing Phone 3 is launched at 8,000 rupees, which is not that outrageous considering that Apple, Samsung, and Google charge that money for their their incomplete flagships, what I like to call it. But the problem is, the Nothing Phone 3 isn't really a flagship. I mean, they're calling it a flagship, but it's not a flagship. Basically, it has a 8S Gen 4 processor, which is not anywhere near as powerful as the Elite, so it's down on power. And so even some of the specs going around the phone, like the USB 2.0 port, that's not good. And what else was there? The cameras, well, the cameras are okay, but they are not on the level that they can compete with the iPhone 16, the Pixel 9, or the S25. They just have better cameras. And I kind of understand why nothing's doing this. I kind of understand the position they're in, but it's not really an ideal situation. I get it that nothing's a smaller country, so it needs to make some profit margins, and so far they've been making budget range phones which are really good, and they can't really get much of a profit on that. And they've been around for what, 2-3 years now, and they probably have investors, shareholders who might be looking to get some return on their investment since it's been 3 years. And maybe that's why they decided to go down the flagship route, because that's where they can make the money. But that's not going to translate well to the consumer, because the phone isn't a flagship. It's just not. It's like something that's between the mid-range and the flagship. I mean, a lot of manufacturers have that phone there, and the difference is those phones are cheaper. They're not as expensive as the flagship. But Nothing Phone 3 is basically marketed as a flagship with the flagship price tag without the flagship specs. And I'm not sure who's actually going to be buying this phone, whether it's here or abroad, and especially here. I mean, 8,000 rupees is a lot of money, and people are very careful about what they spend that on, especially on a phone. So yeah, who's going to buy the phone? And I know what Nothing's targeting is the enthusiasts who love their special design language. Oh yeah, by the way, the design of the phone, that just doesn't look good. And the back looks out of place, and I guess you could call it unique, but it doesn't really seem all that appealing. And I don't understand why they went in that direction, especially since the Nothing Phone 3A and the 3A Pro, was it? Those were good designs. I mean, one had a big bump, but it was okay. It wasn't a huge deal. But this one, just the camera seemed out of place, and they got rid of the glyph that everyone was a fan of, and they replaced it with a small dot matrix LED screen circle at the top with a bunch of neat tricks. And I'm not sure anyone's actually going to be using that apart from when they open the phone and just try it out. I don't think anyone's going to be touching that afterwards. I mean, I can imagine some niche cases where that might be useful, but I think the glyph would have been a bit more exciting. So the design's not really all that there, and the specs are not that there. And even the people who love Nothing for its unique software experience, well, if they love the software experience more than the specs, they can just go buy the 3A or the 3A Pro. It's the same software. They gain the same experience, and those phones are really good too. So why would anyone honestly spend the money on getting this flagship Nothing phone? I don't understand who's actually going to be buying this phone. I'm sure some people will buy it, but overall in terms of sales, not sure who's going to buy it. because if you're charging for flashy money, you want flashy specs, or you need something in there that people actually really like to make them buy it. For example, the camera, if the Nothing made a super incredible camera that's even better than the other brands with the great photo and video, that would have been a selling point to sell the phone. And a lot of people in this price range care a lot about the camera. The camera is just a bit behind, just like everything else. So the camera is just a bit behind, and the the specs are a bit behind, and the design's a little weird, and the price is really high, and I don't see the market for this. I mean, the enthusiasts are just going to go for the Nothing Phone 3A and 3A Pro, and the only thing this honestly offers that seems significantly more valuable to them would be a better camera performance in the Nothing Phone. But I know that's big enough selling point, since it's not on par with the rest of them. So yeah, this is a weird strategy that Nothing's used, and I get why they're doing this, but I really felt like they should have tried and stuck around the mid-range segment, the budget segment, a bit longer to establish some sort of solid brand, and then try this, instead of just going for it in the third generation. I mean, even OnePlus waited around for what, 7 years till they brought out something that was a flagship. Before that, they were the flagship killer, and Nothing kind of followed that DNA. And now, just after 2 years, they just let go of that and turned to flagship. And this isn't really the best move of the company. Now, I'm sure Nothing won't have too much of a problem as a business, because the 3A and the 3A Pro are good phones, and the sales will be good enough, especially in India, to keep them afloat here. But as far as flagships go, I'm not sure how much they're gonna be making from this phone. If the profit was the motive, this phone wasn't the answer, and it kind of sucks. And everyone's really excited about the Nothing flagship. I mean, everyone's expecting Nothing to bring cutting-edge specs at a cheaper price, or at a cheaper price or something, but they didn't bring it. Honestly, I was hoping that they would bring the $1,000 phone specs at $800. That would have been a good deal, but they didn't. They brought a $800 phone with what, $500, $600 specs at the most, and they're not in the position to do that, and it's kind of sad. Now, hopefully, Nothing looks into the sales, and if it doesn't go well, which I don't think it will, they turn back and decide to follow their DNA again and try to focus on the budget segment and really build up a brand reputation, because that's not something you can do easily. And even OnePlus, after 7 years, they couldn't do it. As soon as they went to the flagship level, they kind of fell apart. That's partly to do with the software too, but yeah, they fell apart. And honestly, I think what Nothing should focus more on is the camera. I mean, them still being a small company, I mean, they managed to make a really good camera that's close to the big brands, Samsung, Apple, and Google. So if they really focus on it, I think they can make it par on that. And camera software, I think they can manage to trickle that down to some of their more cheaper phones, if the processor is capable of it. And I think that's the route they should take. People already love the software, and if it has a great camera too, I think that's more than enough. And then maybe slowly they can start charging for these excessive prices. People will be willing to take it just for the camera experience, but they're not there yet. And I think that's the track they should focus on, rather than just trying to compete the flagships without actually making a flagship. So yeah, that's what I think of the new Nothing Phone 3.